Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Weekly DLC. I'm one of your hosts, Kurosh, joined always by my co-host, Vargas.
Hoo-ha!
And Danny Jang.
Pika pika.
If you're not familiar with what we do, we come to you each and every week to podcasting services of your choice. And we sit around a table, usually like this one, and we have topics, usually nerdy in nature, games, comics, movies, everything in between. And we have some fun. It's episode 108. That's one after 107.
And that's one before 109.
That's a good point. I didn't even... Shit. Okay. Yeah, it's crazy times, man. Crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know what to think about that. I have to take a week to process that. We've been doing this thing. I'm going to just preface again. We go straight into the topics now. So we're going to do that. And then at the end, if you want to hear us chit-chat about like what we've been up to, that's when we'll cover it at the end of the podcast. Maybe I should start doing like a timestamp of like when that starts. So people have like either want to listen just to the topics or just to the...
I believe you used to do that.
I did it for topics. I never did it for...
You did it for spoilers, I think.
That too.
I
should just start doing all this shit. You guys are just telling me I'm a lazy piece of shit. I get it. It's fine.
POS.
All right. Let's go into the topics.
Let's do it.
With the best topic.
The best for first.
I'm ready.
So Nintendo had a direct, and they indirectly... They brought up Pokemon Sword and Shield, a Switch game, which I can't say at this point it's a new Switch game it's a new game, but it's not the first of Pokemon for the Switch at this point.
Right, we have Pokemon. But it's a new gen.
Yes, Generation 8.
Oh, the Ocho.
Del Ocho. But I just wanted to talk about it. Like, what do you guys hope to see? Because they haven't released too much information.
Yeah.
So I want to know what you guys hope to see, what changes you want to see. And what we can hope for in this new Switch title.
Well, I have a question for you. Did you see the direct?
I did.
Did you see the direct?
I didn't.
What did you think of it? Well, did you see bullet or any news of it or any images?
I saw screenshots.
Okay.
The starters.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's enough to go off of.
The starters.
What did you guys think of the news? I want to know just like right off, like, was this exciting to you? Was it?
I was disappointed in like what normally I've been used to directs giving like a few things, like here's this, sure. And this direct was exclusively for Pokemon. They didn't really bring anything else to the table.
That isn't new to Pokemon though. Might be a while since we've gotten a Pokemon one, but Pokemon ones tend to be, hey, we're doing our own thing.
Oh, okay.
And they tend to be a lot less than what we get. It's usually like, here's the starters or here's a cinematic or whatever. So, yeah.
But yeah, the biggest surprise to me is how little they gave and how soon of a release date they gave. They're already like, it's the end of this year.
What was it, E3 last year? They were like, it's coming next year.
Yeah.
I was like, especially after that last direct, I was like, I wonder where this is going to fit and all that, because Pokemon just kind of does what Pokemon wants. But they like to just like, it's usually in the winter time because they're like, this is going to eat up Christmas gifts, like fucking like bonkers.
They know it.
Switch is going to be hard to find during Christmas.
Get a Switch Classic. Yeah, so I mean, what you saw is just like the starters. What did you think?
I didn't see the gameplay. Is the gameplay back to the old style, or is it like Go?
Yes and no. It's not like Go.
Okay.
I thought you were saying
Good.
Let's Go.
Please don't.
So
I'd say it's a more refined version of like the newer 3DS games. Like it's
like X and Y kind of like brought you more into it, but I think it takes it even more so. It's still like a set camera, but it might angle it differently depending on where what scenery you're in. One thing that I will say that it didn't have that Let's Go had was Let's Go had the Pokemon in the world. You could see what you're going to encounter.
Yeah.
This one went back to traditional where you're in a bush,
random encounter,
and then but you battle that wild Pokemon. In Go, it was just it was Go mechanic. Or Let's Go, it was a Go mechanic where you're just catching. So pro con, I liked the visual of like seeing it Pokemon just like roaming around the grass.
Right.
Especially if you want to avoid like 18 Zubats, but I don't know. That's my initial thought on that.
The thing is, like, I'm torn because, I mean, again, I grew up with the classics, so I want those random encounters. And again, I do hate all the Zubats, but I just think it's so cheap to be able to like see all these bats and just like weave in and out of them.
Sure,
and,
I see what you mean there.
It always repels.
I think like a midway point is like, you can't do much with the cave, but I think with grass is showing like just rustling, and you can walk up to that point if you want to immediately go into battle rather than having to run around the grass for a while if you're trying to like capture someone specific, or like, you know, not you're like, I need to catch a Pokemon or I need to fight someone. You can always just run into like a rustling point of the grass and immediately go into counter. I think that's something that they should implement. I'm not sure if this will have
it might have been in the past. I know for like chaining catches, that's what they would do, is like if you got one and you stood still or used an item or something, you would see where the next rustle is. And if you went straight to that rustle, you would get another one. And you kept chaining it and trying to get a shiny.
Gotcha.
Outside of that, I was trying to like dissect the trailer a little bit. So it shows a setting. It's a new region called the
Galar.
Gala.
Galar.
And it looks very European. Like it had a lot of like Victorian style building. It had hills. I don't know, just things I associate more with, less with like regions in Japan and more so with the attire looked very gentlemanly and scholarly. It made me think of like steampunk, minus the steampunk, more just like that era.
Is there Go implementation?
I think there will be. They didn't showcase any of that. They showed like, this looked like what you would see out of a 3DS game. Just next, but like something I noticed was they showed the 3 starters, but they showed like one or two new Pokemon like in like just gameplay, but they showed old Pokemon too. So you saw Pikachu, you saw Lucario, you saw like several older gens. So it's like they're not going all new.
Yeah,
they're keeping some, whether they're like from trainers or you get them later. I don't know. I'm wondering do you guys think that helps or hurts it? That because sometimes the new Pokemon gens will be like it's only new gen, and then after you've finished the game, you could maybe trade or unlock regions. Do you guys like that it's mixed in, maybe, or would you want?
I like that it's mixed in. It's a mix of both worlds. Like people don't have to catch the older Pokemon anymore if they don't want to. They can avoid them, catch only the new ones. And that's only if this is actually mixed. You know, I don't know how it's going to work.
They just showed, like, the times they showed it, it was battling.
Yeah.
So it's like a trainer or...
Yeah, so I know, I'm pretty sure, like, at least that Pikachu one was a random battle encounter. Okay. So that's something they're going to have, you know, so they will have probably the older Pokemon. But
I'm torn. Like, I'm worried of that because I'm worried that it's, like, still leaning on we don't have enough faith in our new stuff yet. But I want them to go in that direction. I want them to, like... It's supposed to be a new gen. It shouldn't just be like, here's 40 new Pokemon and here's the 700 or however many old ones.
Yeah.
But maybe it's such an expansive world that there's room for all that. I don't know.
Hopefully. Like, obviously they haven't showed us a Pokedex of like this new region.
How many there are.
But yeah, that's something I'm hoping for. Like, I do want it to be a brand new game in a sense of like brand new Pokemon too. But like there's... You know, it's a whole new world with new Pokemon, and it's the old ones sprinkled in.
So I was writing up when you told us about the topic. I wrote up my thoughts on, and what my thoughts are mostly are on gameplay changes. Mm-hmm. What did you guys have for like, not so much maybe the Pokemon or new or old, but like how the game plays? Do you want to keep it to the classic, or are you hoping for any like new mechanics or anything?
I like the animation of Let's Go. Like the new updated graphics. Pikachu and Eevee, they actually have sounds. Please implement the sounds for all the Pokemons. Please. Just having that digitized... Like, it's just like... It's about time.
Toggle-on move.
Yes, it's about time. You did it for Eevee and Pikachu. Let's do it for everyone. Please.
Some Pokemon Go, not every Pokemon had a...
There's only those two that have
Let's
sounds.
Go. Or Let's Go, yeah, sorry.
Yeah, all the Pokemon, their sound, if you go over it, is like the traditional like Game Boy, like...
Oh.
But Pikachu and Eevee are like, Pika Pika and Eevee.
Oh, they had like the...
Because you're like playing with them, touching them, rubbing them, tickling them.
Whoa.
Oh, episode 69?
But yeah, like I am hoping for new mechanics.
Any in particular?
They've done mini games, but not like to an extent.
Battle Royale.
No, the trailer showed something that hinted at the caves. Do you remember that mechanic?
No.
So in one of the older ones, I think it was Ruby Sapphire, maybe. You had your own cave. You could personalize it however you want, and then you could mine in there. I think it was a 3DS one because you would use the stylus, or maybe it was DS. I don't know. but you would get gems that you could then use in the rest of the game to like trade for a TM or to learn a move or nickname, whatever abilities you wanted to do. And it looks like they're bringing the cave back in some way, shape, or form, because you see the character and it like changes the background to like house, cave, and like the cave had all the minerals like the old one. So I'm curious how that'll work.
You know what?
I know there's a website that does like it kind of like, how do I say it? Simulated battles.
Smogon.
Yes, simulated battles. But
I frequent there a lot.
I want them to implement that. Let's say I want to fight a team of this, and how the battle outcome would be. Like, I don't know.
That'd be cool. I like that.
Within the game?
Yeah, like be like, I want to face this sort of scenario. How do I want to test my team without like publicly sharing? Because for the competitive scene, that could be a big thing of like, oh shit, I want to test this out in whatever, but I want to control the scenario, like much like private matches. I think that's good. That'd be good.
Something I feel it is getting old is just the simplicity of like the Pokemon catching. Like you bring it to a low level, and then you try to catch it. I want them to, because they've done things with berries before, but it was too far in the sense of like, you didn't have your own spot where you're growing berries. You had to walk around back.
You had to remember
memorize.
spots.
Yeah, exactly. So like, I think they could like implement things like Animal Crossing wise, where that
Stardew Valley.
farm. Yeah, you just start like you can start creating your crops. You can have certain Pokemon there, and it changes their like.
So you can have a base or a home maybe where you can do all of the things like the cave and those things. Right?
Yeah. So like, because a lot of times like there's people that try to catch Pokemon that have a certain type of attitude. Like if it's timid, if it's like always like an angry type or whatever.
Yeah.
Something to be cool is that like if you have it at your base and it's always changing its attitude, so you can have like a low level one. And you can kind of like be able to reset it that way, and then start leveling it with that one attitude because it's supposed to like help.
That would change the
stats.
meta. Crazy.
So I read a few things. I have a few thoughts of my own, but I read a few things that we could speculate on. So I watched Kind of Funny. Shout out to them because Tim Geddes brought up a few 4chan posts, and he's like, as a lot of times games come out, you'll see like people going back to old posts to see whose leaks were accurate.
Yeah.
And 2 posts on there on 4chan were accurate to the point of it was going to be called Sword and Shield. It was going to be a monkey, a gecko, and a rabbit thing. Yeah. It was going to be in European Britain style. And so that was what was shared in the trailer you would agree to a degree. And then it had more info in these 4chan posts, one of which was instead of mega evolutions, there was armored evolutions. So like you could combine Meltan, who's like a new Pokemon, and that could be like a way of shape-shifting metal armor onto like a Charizard or something. And
that's cool.
However that might help it or hurt it, I don't know. Another thing that I think you mentioned change the meta, this I could definitely see be like, okay, competitive scene, big thing. Casual play could be an interesting thing. It's like a special elemental ability or a specific Pokemon in your party or something, a mechanic in which it sacrifices a slot in your team, but it allows you to switch a typing of one of your Pokemon.
Oh, so like a Pikachu, instead of being lightning,
he could have all of his moves, but he could all of a sudden be steel type.
Oh, wow.
So the type advantage there could help or hurt.
Because you can trick people.
But it's at a cost too. Yeah. So right. This is again speculation on 4chan posts but they're going based off of like, they settled these other things right. This is one of the things they got.
But that could make a new meta where like there's tournaments where it's like you have to fight instead of 6 Pokemon, it's 5 Pokemon. So you're forced to use that meta, that change. And then again, anyone like people always know the Pokemon you're using. You can see it. Like you know who they are.
Sort of.
One of them is the wrong.
They'll have like
element.
What they do is, from my understanding, competitive, you pick 3 of your 6.
Right.
So they see your 6. They don't know what 3 you picked.
Gotcha. But now they don't know.
Even then, you could have that thing there and be like, they might go that way, or they might be like trying to fake me out or whatever. So, interesting. I think that could be an interesting element of changing, like again, the meta, like you said. That could be cool.
I wonder if like they get like those bonuses too, because like Steel type like can't get
I'm thinking like, okay, if a Pokemon has a move that's not of its type, but now you're changing the type so it does have the typing. It gets added bonus damage because it's same type. That's the thing. Stab, same type attack bonus.
Yeah.
For those not familiar. So if a Blastoise, which is a water Pokemon, uses a water move like Surf, in addition to just being its effectiveness, it gets 1.5 times that just for being the same type. So if it had, for instance, you taught Blastoise like Iron Tail.
Yeah.
It doesn't have a tail, but you changed its type to Steel or added Steel. It could also be adding. Now that move has added damage, and that could change from like a partial damage.
Yeah.
You know how fighting games, they always like update?
I was just about to say that.
Do you want this game to have like balance updates?
So Pokemon Go has recently, they've been like more stable lately. Like they have a lot of the content they initially promised. And one of the things they've been doing now with PvP being an implemented thing is changing damage outputs and energy costs for moves. So in Pokemon Go, it's different how it works. That you have to build energy to use bigger moves. The costs of Nest needing to do that, the amount of energy you generate with your smaller move, the damage those moves do has changed. And new moves have been added to the pool. Like Machamp can now learn a new move that he previously could. I would be in line with like maybe a while later as like additional content or a way to change the content. Can you imagine like seasons? Like those elements of like seasonal content, but with Pokemon?
That brings a good thing. They should have seasons in the game. Like it goes winter.
That could be the seasons.
fall. Again, then that goes back to Animal Crossing. Like being able to farm and stuff like that. I just, with the farming idea is like, I want the berry thing, and I want them to implement berries and some like, some things that they've done with like Pokemon Go and Pokemon Let's Go is you give them berries.
Yeah, in
to
the
be
past
easier
ones,
to
the
catch.
berries were like held items.
Yeah,
they weren't
exactly.
like used for catching.
Yeah, and there were some beneficial held items, but like it's only to your specific Pokemon, not to the one you're fighting.
Leftovers.
And-
OP.
And so yeah, like that's something I want to like implement. I want to be able to like farm my berries and then use those berries to catch Pokemon easier, along with like the fact that I'm beating the crap out of that Pokemon to
Pummeling
also make
it to brink of death.
and then give it a berry like I'm so sorry I hurt you. Now let me catch you.
It's crazy how Monster Hunter and Pokemon have this like weird, like if you break it down, it's sadistic and dark, but it's such like joyful and it's captured a whole like culture and everything. It's crazy.
Release me.
I don't know how I feel about HMs. So I'd be open, and so I have a few thoughts of like things I was going to change. I'd think it'd be cool if it like RPG elements for the trainer. So like the trainer, based on what they're wearing, could give them buffs or debuffs or chances of like, instead of giving it to the Pokemon, give it to the trainer.
Yeah.
That could be cool, or different at the very least. And then another thing was, I was thinking of other JRPGs, and two came to mind. One of them was Xenoblade Chronicles, like that scale of world, like that could be cool. Of like if we ever saw, and this isn't it. I'm speculating maybe for future iterations, but seeing like a giant colossal.
Well, we don't. I mean, they've shown the map, but like
No. This is not going to be that. Xenoblade.
you never know. Because the thing is, like, I'm thinking of. So if you think of Grand Theft Auto 5, if you look at the map from like far up, you don't know how detailed.
I know, but
that
they
is.
showed like gameplay, and it's not what I'm thinking.
Okay.
My thinking is like you're seeing a Blastoise that's like fucking mega
okay.
in the
Okay.
background, and like
Yeah.
it's like Final Fantasy 15.
Yeah.
You see the actual sizes and shit.
Yeah, like no, this is maybe
Palkia?
one day. Yeah, exactly. Like Rayquaza, just like fucking, like sort of like Rayquaza would be like Breath of the Wild, where you see the dragons just like.
You go
It's like
look
a
for the
moment
map.
you're like, whoa,
I need to get
or like a Shadow of the Colossus moment where
Yeah.
it's like, fuck, that's Groudon.
To catch him, you have to like climb him.
Oh my god, that would be a cool mechanic for legendaries. Legendaries should be Shadow of the Colossus style. Like you fucking climb them and you're like riding your Rapidash. You're like,
Jump off your Rapidash.
holy shit, that would be fucking dope.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Some of them, not all of them. I
Yeah.
think like it wouldn't work with Mewtwo.
But it's funny too. Is like
The
there's-
birds could be cool.
I feel like there's just so many Pokemon that are like huge. They're just huge.
I'm in love with that idea. That's so cool. The other idea was in combat. I would love to see them like it may be not a main game, but like just change it in the sense that like, can you like Octopath Traveler? Like if you have it where you have your party of 4 and they have their party of 4 and you're typing, if you hit them with a certain type, it breaks them, much like Octopath says. So it teaches typing. Mm-hmm. It could be like a specific combat style. Like you have this main game style, and then like you're like, oh, let's do this different Pokemon battling, and it's a new way of battling Pokemon. That could be interesting. The other oh, by the way, in the 4chan post, the other thing was the team, because it's like European. The 4chan post was saying it's the evil team is going to be a Viking themed, and they're like invading. They're evil. Like it's not like misunderstood or anything. It's just like it's just Vikings people trying to invade. I had one other thing. I think. What do you guys think of like dungeons? I think like they've instances. Messed with that with like the Team Rocket base or various like
random generated dungeons.
No, more like I was thinking like Persona or Zelda, where it's like puzzles. Like it'd be cool to more elaborate puzzles than like spinning, figuring out where to spin, like Zelda or Persona style, where you're like navigating through this area and trying to figure stuff out, and it's like its own little. That could be like a new gym. They should
do that for legendaries. Like when you find a legendary,
that'd be cool.
You gotta go through like a
fucking just
and it can be random too. Like the Pokemon the legendary can be random. So like just because you're in one area doesn't mean it's always gonna be the Mewtwo or whatever.
I kind of would lean more towards a unique gym, because I would like them to lean into wherever the typing or the lore is behind that Pokemon. So like for Zapdos, I would love for like an electric factory themed dungeon. Like I would love them to take that area that those Pokemon are in and ramp it up and do some cool puzzle solving.
I would like the randomness just to like always be different, like because people are always.
What do you do when you catch them? What? Are you saying it's one area where you go back for new legendaries?
Well, like there's no, I guess because they would be the same area, but it would be a random legendary like that one time, like when you start to load a game. It just like randomly picks different areas for legendaries.
I would do that for endgame just so you could be like, I can re-encounter these legendaries again. Mm-hmm. Like I would have a unique thing. Maybe it's a smaller thing for this one, or maybe that endgame is smaller but random.
Yeah,
and it mixes elements like what you're saying. That'd be cool.
But yeah, mini games is something I want. Like just like I think it's always a good idea like to have a game where like you can relax in the game with a different game essentially. So the casino thing was like that's gambly.
I would definitely lean towards. I mean, farming. For what you're saying,
farming.
That, but I was also thinking like Pokemon Stadium had some great mini games.
Oh yes,
and those could be great co-op. Like, hey, play your Pokemon game.
Especially with the Switch, like you can take that anywhere and just start immediately just like.
And the second thing I would do is I would sneak in Pokemon Snap, because the Switch, I feel like. Have like a Breath of the Wild style. Like you have to catch them all, collect all the photos.
You go to like a safari and you have options. You can do like just switch to like the standard, like the way the original safari was, or you can do like the new Switch safari and it's like the Pokemon Go and Snap, and you're able to just take pictures
on rails.
Yeah, you're like it's first person. You're like you just see like you're moving around. You move your camera to see everything.
These could be great DLC. Like if it's not in the base game, which is coming out this year, they could be like, hey, in this season we're adding all the Pokemon Stadium style mini games. In this next season, we're adding.
Dude,
fucking Pokemon, call us.
My favorite thing about Snap is like catching Pokemon at the right time, because there's like a perfect moment where like they're doing something super rare or something like the Pokemon generally doesn't do, and just catching it, like it tells you like, dude, you got it at the right time. That's so good. I love it.
You should play Pokemon Go. They added snapshot features where it's like not static.
Yeah.
It's you can walk around them, but it now works. It's not just encounters with wild Pokemon. It works with everything you've caught. So there's a lot of Pokemon you can't catch in the wild, like a baby Pokemon that you hatch, or an evolution.
But now you can do it.
And now I can just be like, oh, I caught this one. I want to take a picture of this one now. And you open up your app and you take a picture however you want.
No,
it's not Snap, but I feel like it's close. I want Shadow Colossus Pokemon now. That's
just giant Pokemon.
And Zelda dungeons, Divine Beasts.
So another thing is Let's Go had you can ride your Pokemon in the wild, like Rapid Ash.
They should do that.
Yeah, they should do that. Like instead of the bike, or at some point, like you have the bike, like they'll probably have that original story still there, like where you have to do something to get a bike. But eventually, like if you get like the friendship of certain Pokemon up that are rideable, like you could just get on them and just ride.
Coast.
That'd be so good. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm hyped. I'm ready to play this game. Okay, here's a question. Are you guys interested in playing this game?
Yes.
Maybe.
Maybe. What is holding you back, or what would put you over the fence?
I feel like it's the same game. That's pretty much it.
What would
Every single Pokemon game is the same.
Or very
Except
similar.
Let's Go
in
is
terms of the
different.
playing it and stuff?
Yeah.
So what feature, like what could be like if they said this is in it, what would you do? What would it be? One thing.
I don't know.
Okay. They'd have to think of something.
They would have to do like a season of like for tournaments. Like
Okay. Something to get you to play battle?
Yes.
Were you more of a battler
Yes.
in the previous? Did you I know we did the Street Pass stuff.
I thought I was, and then we had a friend named George Vehar, or I mean, he's live still. We have a friend named George Vehar. He wrecked me. He like one Pokemon, I couldn't do shit. Like he kept switching, and he would like drop spikes. So if I switched, I immediately get hit. And then he would do like, he would immediately do like the.
He went pro on you.
Yeah, he would do
a
move where I can't hit him, and then so I miss, and then he does it again, and I miss, and I'm just dying slowly by poison. I'm like, stop doing this, and I'll like flip Pokemon, and there's the spikes out again. I'm like, oh my god, you're the worst, and I hate this game, and I never fucking played competitive. And he wasn't even hardcore competitive. He just like knew a meta,
a style of play.
Yeah, he knew one meta, and I didn't know it at all. So he just completely.
I don't like that
countered
style. I want to sweep them.
Glass cannons.
See, that was my idea. Like that's how I always played. I just like chose the best, strongest Pokemon, and obviously try to match up. But that's also in single player. Like I know what the other guy's gonna have.
There's a funny story. I have like a couple copies of Pearl. No, I had Diamond, Pearl, and what was the third one? Platinum. So I was playing with our friend Monado. You saw him at the stream. But I was like, "Can we play Pokemon?" He's like, "Yeah, let's play." I was like, "Any rules?" He's like, "Yes, any rules." So I just 3 Darkrai's in a row. So he finally took out the first Darkrai. I was like, "Oh, you're not ready for this." Boom, second one. I said, "What, another Darkrai?" He's like, "No, I know. I have another one." Destroy, because no rules. You could just sleep as many as you want. Just nightmare. I'm sorry. No rules. He said no rules, dude.
I felt bad. I played once with a friend of mine, and we were okay. Like I was more competitive, and I think I invested more time into it, and I was able to do some stuff. And then his younger brother wanted to play, and I was like, "Yeah, let's play." And I didn't much younger, like very young kid. And we're playing, and I didn't change my mindset, and I played like the guy playing you. It was like a killing, and like they started to tear up and feel. And I did. It was like what he did to you, but like instead of an adult, it was like to a child. And I was like, I just ruined Pokemon for something. This hurts. Like I don't want to ever feel this way ever again.
That kid growing up, he's like 20 years old now, and he's like, fuck Pokemon. I don't like Pokemon.
And it's like seated in all this.
Wow. He sees this news. He's like, nope, not my type of game.
Flashback, like that Vietnam.
But I wanted to end it on us choosing starters.
Oh yeah, we didn't even talk about the starters.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about the starters. So
there's the Fire Bunny.
There's the Fire Bunny. It's they call it a
Score
rabbit
Bunny.
Pokemon. But yeah, it's his name is Score Bunny. So obviously Score Bunny.
I was thinking like soccer. Score.
And then we have the chimp type Pokemon, which is Grookey, which is the leaf one.
He's the cowbell one.
And then we have Sobble, which is a water lizard type Pokemon.
Like a gecko.
Doesn't look anything like a gecko to me, but
I mean it's a Pokemon. But it had the
So would you guys choose the grass, which is Grookey? Would you guys choose the fire, which is Score Bunny, or would you guys choose the water type, which is Sobble?
I always pick fire, but I like the way the water looks. But I always pick fire. Always.
So you're going with Score Bunny.
Yes.
Okay. What about you?
So just based on their first form, Score Bunny's the most appealing. Now
that doesn't make any sense to me, but okay.
What do you mean? It's the bunny. I like the bunny look over. I don't like the
He's the most like anime looking one
Yeah.
to me. I mean, that's not appealing to me, but okay.
That's fine. That's you.
But do you watch anime?
But someone had a theory on Reddit or Twitter, I forget, where they were like, the monkey, he's got a drumstick. So like his evolution is gonna be like a bongo drums or something. I'm like, I'm fucking
Oingo
down.
boingo.
Fucking groovy
Donkey
Donkey
Kong-
Konga. Dun, 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 dun.
So yeah,
So if it's that way, I want to switch or have this discussion again when we know the final form.
Yeah.
Because I love.
we can do it again once
Yeah.
that's revealed.
But right now I'm going for Score Bunny.
Okay,
I'm typically not a fire type one. I lean towards water.
And what's funny to me is I'm already thinking of like what type of moves they'll have.
Yeah.
And the reason why so I'm going with Grookey, first of all. And
The
I'm-
monkey?
Yeah, and I'm choosing that one because I feel that because it's a monkey, I feel like it's going to have fighting type moves.
No.
And
Maybe.
yeah. And so I felt like
Dance
that's-
moves.
I don't know. Is there a leaf / fighting type Pokemon?
No. Well, the
Nuzzle?
not a starter. There is a leaf. There's grass fighting. Isn't it a
Isn't Nuzleaf or something like that?
no? Isn't Gallade? No, he's not grass. Gallade looks like grass. He's fighting psychic or just some fairy.
I want fighting fairy.
But yeah, it's a Grookey for me
I just went off color scheme. I thought he was going to be another earth grass.
and Score Bunny for both of y'all. Lames.
What version of the game do you guys? Just based on like the.
I've actually already decided this with Roberto. So Roberto loves red. So he's going with sword. Which doesn't make any sense. And I've always loved blue. I'm going with shield.
So regardless of any future content,
Yeah, well, I don't know. Like as of right now, I've been watching an anime called The Shield Hero or the Shield. I think it's called Shield Hero, and I'm like, I'm down to go with Shield. And the only reason why is I've always gotten blue. Like my whole history is I've gotten the very first Pokemon I got blue. And all the six.
but now you're not going blue. You're going
Sequential.
Grookey.
Exactly. So the Grookey.
But that
So,
that
yeah.
breaks your logic.
And with starters, I've always gone with either a fire type or the water type. So I've never actually gotten grass either.
Okay.
So changing up the meta.
Axe. Let's
Switch
go.
axe.
No, I don't know.
Gunlance?
I saw that they did a
Sword sounds
switch axe
sword
meta.
sounds cooler. So
That's what I'm worried. I don't like. I typically go with like, okay, everyone's going the other way. I'll go this way because I'm sure there's going to be a need for that. But sometimes,
but you didn't do that with Eevee. Let's go.
yeah,
You got
I got
Pikachu?
selfish. I was like, I Pikachu. I don't care. Who the fuck. And I feel like depending on the legendary, that could be a deciding factor for me. And if they ever do the whole like you get certain Pokemon in this or certain that.
In the classics, it was never a difference of legendaries.
No,
It was just
well
a difference
in
of
the classics being Game Boy Color, like red,
Yeah.
blue. Yeah, those weren't different. In Gold and Silver, there was Lugia, Ho-Oh, and then all that stuff.
I remember that one. I remember looking.
I would actually like if it's like I wonder. I don't know. I don't think they'll do it, but it'd be cool if they did like a way where Zelda did Oracle of Ages and Seasons, like the impact of the legendary changes or at least changes the story slightly, so it's like a different experience, more so than just these Pokemon are here. Maybe there's a reason why only these Pokemon are here. Maybe instead of going through like a desert valley, you have to go through like a chilled valley.
Yeah.
Because you're on the other side of the globe, or I don't know. That could be cool, and it would maybe entice people to be like, "Oh, I want to get both."
have
so
a
I
more
experience-
dynamic story that changes throughout.
Maybe.
Your decisions change everything.
I'm excited. I'm getting this fucking.
Yeah.
I never get 2 copies, like one of each. I always get just one. I'm like,
Well, it's fine. I'm getting Shield, so if you guys want to get blue, I'll be your backup.
Okay.
I'll give you every Pokemon that's on Shield that obviously isn't in blue.
And when do you think it's going to get released? Thanksgiving weekend?
so when they said Link's Awakening's coming out late 2019, I'm
you don't
like,
think they're going to stagger it?
I think they.
Because Animal Crossing's coming out too. So,
I think it's going to be closer to like July, August.
ooh,
They just haven't said anything.
Yeah. They just said late
No, they haven't said anything for
Pokemon.
Animal Crossing.
Oh, that's right.
So I'm thinking that'll just be like E3. We're showing it. It's out like now
Tomorrow.
or like in a week or I don't know, whatever. People go crazy. Link's Awakening, I could see that being like a November title, maybe December. Because Link, I don't know. I don't feel like that's as like compared to Pokemon. Pokemon's gonna sell units,
Right.
So I think they could lean towards like a September to early November at the latest, but September October for Pokemon, and then Link like in a month or month and a half later.
It's hard to tell you. I agree with you on the Pokemon timing. I don't know if it could be earlier or later for the Zelda title.
It might be the opposite because they in this one they said late 2019 versus just like 2019 for Link. So this one might be like middle of December, right before Christmas, and everyone's rushing to the store, Turbo Manning it.
Oh
Like
my God.
everyone's got Shield version. Where's the Sword version?
Where's Turbo Man?
Switches are gonna sell out.
I don't think they're gonna sell it.
I
I feel like
think-
a lot of people have already acquired that Switch that they need.
3DS always sell out every Christmas. And how many people? How many people have 3DSs?
How many 3DSs do people?
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, I got like 4, so I've got like a Zelda limited edition. I've got another Zelda limited edition.
I wonder what kind of Joy-Cons they're gonna do. Sword and Shield,
Yes.
So probably just blue and red.
pink.
With they're gonna do like a cheap like decal. I don't know.
I don't care about that. I just hope they sell the Joy-Cons separately.
Then finally my second pair of Joy-Cons.
It'd be cool if like because they did the Pokeball Plus. If they do like a Master Ball Plus, it's like
Ooh.
if you already have it, cool. But if you want this one, fondle it, get that rumble.
All right, you guys want to?
I love Pokemon, man.
I could tell.
It makes my Pikas chew. All right, next topic.
Yeah, let's do it.
So, Fortnite, the new season dropped last night.
Where are we dropping?
Where we
Where we
dropping,
dropping,
boys?
boys?
Tetris 99. I haven't seen what they did or released, except for one thing. What would you do to steal the shine from Apex? Because Apex is king.
I would definitely bring in a ping system. Something I would definitely do.
You're a genius.
got-
do you work
got
it? Do you work it? Fortnite?
It's hard to say.
That's what was shared, by the way, for viewers.
So the thing is, like in the season 7 that just was it season 7?
I think it's later than that.
I don't know what season it is now, but the previous season, I didn't even know they had zip lines already.
What?
Yeah.
Zipline?
Yeah.
Yeah. Fortnite had zip lines in playing.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so
Apex stole it from
Oh,
Fortnite.
so wait, Fortnite had it first?
yeah.
Oh, I thought they took it from Apex.
No, they took it from
Okay.
PUBG.
Hey.
So that was just like I didn't even know that, but something they can do.
I think if they introduced either a new building mechanic of some sort, like a new type of wall or surface or something, or a new tool, like after you've built X number or after you've collected X number of resources, you have access to it. Or maybe not even that. You could augment your pickaxe to lean more towards a play style. It could maybe come at a cost of like it takes up an extra slot, so you can't carry as many weapons.
But that would bring players back to it.
I think it would change it up, is what I'm saying. It's like it would make because I feel like with Fortnite, people are getting stagnant. It's like the game isn't bad. It's just like they want new. And I feel like if you introduce something as game changing as something like that without changing it too much from its identity, it could maybe be like, okay, this changes my like the top people are like. Who's gonna like learn this the best or implement like be able to figure out ways to implement this into the gameplay better or something? I don't know. Like I think that could be an interesting one.
Accessories for weapons, I think is something that they can do. Essentially, like have a gun that you can either remove or add, like a silencer or something like that.
Mods.
Oh,
Yeah, mods.
Just like Apex.
Well, like, but the thing is, I wouldn't say that most mods wouldn't make the gun better in a sense, but like you can have a because you know how they have the hunting rifles, so you can have like different scopes on them. So obviously that's gonna make the gun a little bit better depending on the player. But I think adding or removing, depending on the occasion, like there's times where you want them to know where you're at, so you'll shoot without a silencer, and there's times where you just want to be sneaky and you put on that silencer, and you can always add it or remove it whenever you want, you know. I think that's something that could be cool. It can change the dynamic. It can change the way the gameplay's played.
That's a
you
good
know?
point. I think in the line with what you're saying, shit. Hold on. I was like, my computer's shutting down. No, it's just ghosting. I think with what you're saying, it'd be cool instead of not just with guns, but if they lean, it's not stealing from Apex, but it's inspired by. I think leaning towards abilities could be cool, and not have it be character tied. It'd be like you pick up an ability, and like you have X number of uses of it. So maybe like you pick up a teleporting thing, and you can use it like 2 times or 3 times. I don't know.
They technically have that.
Well, I know they have it for like bounce pads and a few things, but I'm saying more abilities. Like bring in an ult. Like all of a sudden a wave of guns starts shooting down, like around a circle around you, or you drop a giant shield around you. So like if your teammates are nearby, they can enter the shield, but your enemies can't.
Yeah,
so
a shield thing is cool.
Like just get crazy with abilities, but have them be items you pick up.
Yeah. So they have with like the recent thing where happened is like there's like a rift that opened up, and so they have items now that's called like portable rifts, and you like just drop it and it rips like a hole, and when you jump in, it drops you immediately at the max height from above that hole where you jumped.
But so more than that, I'm saying go hard, like not just one new ability. For
right.
Like just 30 abilities. That's enough to like change the landscape. Like what are the 30 pick upable abilities?
Yeah.
If I'm in a squad, how can we combo these abilities up? And it still feels like Fortnite, but it's like you're leaning into the silly. You're leaning in like kids could get into that, no problem. Like
I think shield types would be cool, like being able to just like. Because you build, but like being able to build like immediately throw something down that's like an emergency, like here's like all metal like just steel that comes up in front of you.
Oh, like that.
And immediately just protects you from like anything.
I was thinking of like a Destiny Sentinel, like a transparent kind of like colored shield.
I mean, it could be that too, like because that's what they're all about. Like you're in a bubble that's like slowly going down. So like they're all about shields. You drink a shield essentially, stuff like that. But yeah, just adding more dynamic to the game, adding more crazy stuff going on. I think like live changes that happened every day is something that's cool. Like when you're playing on the stage, like a flood happens and it just immediately changes the scene while you're playing, and obviously they can design the game to like make players kind of go to that area so they see it happening or it affects them while they're playing. Because the bubble gets smaller, so it's forcing you to go, and sometimes it can be random, so it can like take you to those areas or something like that. I think that's cool.
Jang, do you have any?
They need to bring in a skin that's really hard to get, which is level 100, and it has to be really cool looking. So it forces people to play, to grind, to get that skin. Appealing rewards. They got a banana man.
He ripens as the match goes on.
So I don't know if you guys know. I think this is the story of the stream sniper Banana Man.
Oh, really?
There's a guy that would snipe in PUBG.
Specifically,
he would Shroud.
Yeah.
He would go up to Shroud and he wouldn't shoot.
Yeah, he would wear all yellow. And he would just run
they called him a Banana
and
Man.
Just like, and then Shroud would be like, "Do you got anything for me?" He's just like, sitting here.
But one good thing is the battle pass is $10, which Apex is $30.
They had it for free if you did certain challenges in the previous season,
which is smart. But I don't know if it. I mean, it
Would
got
that bring people
playing.
back?
So this.
Would that bring people back?
A couple of my friends played Fortnite.
I think it's a smart move because the idea is also when you get a battle pass, you're kind of locked into that season because you want to finish it. Yeah, you want to finish it because all those items are free as long as you beat it during that season. Mm-hmm. So you're getting it to 100. Like my sister was at level 98, so she had to buy it was last night, and that's when they did the change. So she had to buy using the coins level 99 and level 100 to unlock this because she couldn't do it in time. She has school, she just couldn't finish it.
Didn't care enough.
It's hard, dude. I know. It's hard to grind 100. You got to play a lot.
Like in terms of like, do you know where she is with respect to her friends? Like, were they way behind or were they?
Oh, I don't know. Like every time she plays, she is online with a friend.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, she's never like playing alone essentially. So yeah, I mean, they might have been.
So she hit the 100, and that lets her get the next battle pass.
No, so there was challenges where I think it was like just the last week, and it was like a few days before the end of the actual season, where they were like, "Here's a challenge every day,"
Okay.
and you had to complete like a certain amount of challenges to unlock the next season for free. So those are separate from, and I think anyone can do it. Like even if you're a free player, you could do those challenges as well.
Okay.
And
I want a game mode where it's like you want to just fight 10 people, final circle. Quick. They give you 900 max everything, but weapons you still have to find. But they'll give you
you
all
don't
the...
have to worry about.
Yeah,
How
you
would
don't
it
have
be
to
quick
farm.
then?
I don't know then. Maybe it's just a shooting thing then, I guess. No. You need some material, I think, because you're not going to farm in the
Unlimited
top 10.
material.
Yeah.
Nah, but then that would cause. There's some people that are really good and just forever like.
But you could easily build towers down now. Like, it's so easy.
This
all
this is a weird idea. What if you had like a giant, instead of like a big map, you have a ring and it's just empty in the center, like water, and everyone's got like maxed out building materials. So everyone's building the center area and trying to, or trying to just run around the edge.
There'll be a lot of trolls just like trying to kill all edges to make it like fall down.
I think part of the
They
reason
could
would
be edgelords.
the thing with man, part of battle royales could be boring because you don't see action.
Yeah,
I
and then you
wanna
see it
make-
and you're like,
yeah,
I immediately die because I suck.
and I'm done. Like,
But this season, just to let you know, I saw the first. So you know when you get a battle pass, they immediately give you a
The
skin.
armor, yeah.
So they're giving you two right now. They're giving you a pirate, and it looks like a ninja, like a red ninja, and they have 10
Evolution?
Yeah,
Yeah,
10 upgrades. So the pirate goes from like looking from like a regular pirate to like a really like
Decked out
beard
jack.
out, like a red beard type of looking pirate, and immediately goes into that's like I think up to level 3, and then level 4 it turns into an undead skeleton pirate, and then it's like from level 3 to 7. It just gets more and more decked out. It starts getting crazier looking. It starts having like jewelry or whatever.
I think. Oh, good.
And then from there, the last two are just like the variation colors of the very original skin.
Oh shit.
And they did that with the ninja. The ninja started turning into like a lizard guy. So he starts having like scales, and then all of a sudden he just straight up changes into a lizard. And then it's different variation colors, and then starts getting like crazier. And then it's the next last two are different variations of
That's
the
pretty
ninja.
cool.
And then the last one looks kind of lame. The level 100 character. It's just like a girl that looks like, I think she's hip hop themed, and just different variations of her in the 10 different skins they have.
So maybe you guys could educate me. I know you were saying like have a pinnacle one that's hard to get, like a John Wick or whatever. It seems like they could also lean more into like picking what you like these different skins, like having. Like it could be on the level of like how Destiny has it, where it's like common, uncommon, legendary, and then epic. And the epic are the pinnacle one or ones. The legendary could be like 10 or 15 sets in a season that evolve, like what you're saying. So instead of just like 2 or 3, they could lean more into that. Be like, here's 8 or 9 different ones that if you like these, the more you play with this skin, the more it'll evolve into some cool.
And what would be cool is having
cosmetic.
like skin specific challenges. So like if I like that level 100 skin is like the hip hop chick. So challenges could be like, dance in 10 different dance patterns or something like that.
That'd be cool.
And that'd be like you unlock the next like one, and then like
you've traveled or you've danced around the
exactly.
world.
Yeah. Like there's like a Sonic looking character who's just like run, 100 meters before getting shot or something like that.
You mentioned that. It made me think of crossovers. So I think with the pirate thing, something that could be cool is they lean hard into pirates. And if they have the money and partnership they've done with other stuff. Just go in every direction with pirates. Like go into Muppet Pirates. Go into what's it called? Pirates of the Caribbean. Go into One Piece. Like that, I think could like all like in every. And I'm sure there's more, but like every type of commercially known pirate franchise or brand or character, like make those like options or modes or something. Like imagine someone's like, I made my character a One Piece like skin.
Yeah.
A huge fan base would love that.
Right.
Make another one with the Jack Sparrow. Fucking people would go nuts over that.
They should have done a crossover for sure. Like a big crossover.
They can
with
still
some-
do it, I think,
Yeah.
right? Do they ever, when it's a season release, to your guys' knowledge, do they drop stuff mid-season?
I
or
don't think so.
It's just
But
like
Thanos was in the beginning, right? I don't know. I don't remember.
Did
but,
Thanos
he
last the
came,
whole
he
season?
came in, yeah. He would like it would go away and then I think come back for that season. I don't remember actually.
Okay. I was curious. Maybe in the future seasons then.
Yeah.
But like that could be cool where like they just because they've got that over Apex where it's like this and over all other battle royals, the ability to do such crazy crossovers. The Thanos one, all these other the football ones.
So whack the shit of the mic.
Pokemon?
Yeah, and something they've already done is they've made the map dynamic, but like they set those points. So they're
Yeah.
like, hey, on October, the map is gonna change again. And so right now, I believe like half the map is frozen, and it seems like this new season is a pirate theme. So more than likely, they're gonna have the water or the ice melt into water. They'll probably have like a pirate ship somewhere around there.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, but I would like to see these like, I guess, happen in gameplay, like while you're playing. Well, it does like the moment when they tell you like it's gonna happen on this day. If you play on that day, you see the changes happen at that moment. But it's just like something that happens every time. Like every
Okay.
time you play, something randomly happens.
Cool.
I think that's something that would be really interesting for the game. And that's something like I don't feel like other games would really copy. Like there's no other game that would make something dynamic like that. Like Monster Hunter has random things that happen. You know, like you'll see two monsters fight. You know, you can follow small animals and they do weird ass shit that they're doing. You know, and something like that Fortnite would have would be so good for them. I think that's good.
Well, I'm gonna play it tomorrow, and then some Apex. I just want to try it out. I want to try Fortnite on my new monitor
Okay.
because I feel like my shots weren't hitting, and I feel like it was because of
Now
the
you-
old monitor.
Now you're gonna realize like no, it was just me.
No. We hit those.
I feel like it's gonna throw you off because you're used to the way Apex shoots.
Yeah, it's gonna be slow too.
And you're gonna be like, man.
It's just shit
And you're
so
just
slow.
gonna compare it.
Yeah, dude, you can't slide.
Apex needs auto run. Fuck, holding the fucking control.
You have to hold it?
Yeah.
Can't you map it differently?
I don't think there's a button for auto run. I remember talking to Monato. He said there isn't
Okay.
one.
Damn, that's
Apex. Let's get on it.
come on. Change it up.
Just
All right.
like start running AFK and then start eating.
Runs out of those shields.
Rest.
You know what? Fortnite should have just thrown some shade, like had some monsters chilling in the dinosaur-looking creatures in the outside. That would have been funny, but they didn't.
Have Chappie. Like get
Oh
some out.
my god!
like-
have the skins as all the Apex skins. That would have been funny.
Or even just like the movie Chappie. Be like, we partnered with them bitches.
Oh,
What up? It's weird because the director of Chappie,
He was like, I'm down.
he was, but he did, I don't know, it's not, he's working with games, but not this game. He was working with Anthem because he did a live action short.
Oh, that's right.
And I'm like, huh. I wonder if he's like going to start making the rounds and just get involved with other games
They're
like
gonna-
Apex.
They're gonna have a Die Antwoord skin, ninja, and the girl, the bangs.
Did you see the Jack Black? He keeps like,
Oh,
I
yeah.
called Ninja up, and it was like,
It's the wrong ninja.
wrong Ninja.
This is wrong ninja.
Yeah, that was
was
just like,
good.
oh shit.
Yeah, that was so good. Though.
Jables. Okay, next topic.
Yeah, let's do it.
So last topic, Oscars happened this past weekend.
Oh, really? Did it?
They did.
Oh, wow.
And I took the award for
Unimpressed fan.
most.
The one who watched it.
The only one that watched it.
So Katie and I were like, I knew it was happening that night, and we didn't really plan our night around it. But we were having dinner. I was like, hey, it's on. I'll watch it while we're having dinner. And then she went and did her own thing, and I kept watching. So we started halfway into it, and I knew a few things had changed, and there's been controversies this year of like what they were gonna take out, what they decided not to
Yeah.
because of outrage and just upset filmmakers and fans of the stuff. And I was like, the whole rest of the night while I was watching it, I was thinking like, what could they do to garner more viewership? Because every year it's just like viewership is at all time low. And the other side is make it more. I feel like it's outdated in a lot of ways. And I think they were trying to do that popular award thing we talked about in an old episode, and that people weren't happy about that. So I'm trying to think of other ways they could change things up to be more relevant or present to like where we're at now with how we view things, what we consider worthy of like an award as prestigious as this, what that means. Just like ideas. It doesn't have to be to that level, but just like anything from like viewership to that. What do you guys think?
I think they got to start involving audiences.
In like what way?
Well, not possibly even like the physical audience there, but like
well, the audience there's the actors,
the viewers.
Okay.
In a sense, like having like, hey, vote online for like your for the People's Choice, or like for like a specific type of category or whatever. And these aren't like obviously like they're not going to be like actual awards handed to people, but they're shout outs to people like, hey, this guy won the people's favorite for this category or whatever. I think would be cool. And then they don't even have to announce them. It just shows it on the TV. Like, people's favorite was,
that'd be cool.
Kurosh for Unimpressed Fan. So I think that's something that gets people involved, like
Engaged.
gets them texting. Yeah, like, please text this number and vote for your favorite.
I mean, going back as far as American Idol, I remember there was a point where people were like, the engagement for American Idol voting was higher than like actual voting. And like
crazy.
stuff like that. Like if people are that invested in some of these things, and people are invested in like Black Panther and Black Klansman and I forget, Roma and a few of these other films, and they're like, they want to support that. That could be a cool way of like.
I think the thing with American Idol is obviously like the time where the voting really counts, like their vote actually matters. Like if enough people voted
really?
for one person.
I just thought it was only early on or something.
No, early on is the judges making the calls.
You're right.
And then once it gets to the very end, like the last few guys, it's the audience, and that's where it really got engaged, I think. And that's where
Okay.
and people were like, they even tell you like you can vote a max of 5 times. So then people are like, number one, text back again. Number one, text back again. And so people would vote more than once.
Well, do you think like this could be taken advantage of them, because there's already these things of like review bots with the whole Captain Marvel thing? What if people like skew the votes in a certain way that or like put in like I wouldn't go as far as putting in like comments.
Yeah,
I would have it just be like a poll. But I'm wondering if that is there's any reason to be concerned.
I wouldn't make the viewer votes like matter to anything. It's just a viewer choice for this specific category, and it wouldn't give incentive to these like trolls or like these people to really like. If you made that vote matter and like this guy's actually gonna get an award, they're gonna choose like the cheapest person or like the like the worst person to be chosen to try to win. Like that
something outrageous,
exactly,
just for shock value.
Someone's name wasn't even on there. Somehow someone hacked a different name.
Tommy
on there.
Wiseau.
Exactly. Like all these like crazy stars, and all of a sudden like Tommy Wiseau wins best for The Room or whatever.
For foreign film. Okay. No, I get that's good.
Yeah.
Not to empower too much,
Exactly.
but to get engaged. Mm-hmm. Jang, what do you think?
I didn't watch the Oscars this year, but I know sometimes they incorporate like where the comedian or the host will be in the movie, and there's this like funny like skit. Yeah. I wish did they incorporate?
There was no host this year.
Oh yeah, there was no host, but there's no skits.
It was just the presenters doing a funny back and forth while they're at the mic about like Melissa McCarthy, and I forget who the guy was. He was an African American actor. He was in one of the films that had been on. He had so much makeup on because they were presenting for makeup.
Oh shit.
And so they were both like really elaborately dressed and funny parodies of the movies that they're nominating. So he had on like a mix of Wakanda with Mary Poppins and a little bit of The Favorite, which is Victorian.
Yeah.
And she just had like this outrageous queen outfit from The Favorite with bunny little plushies on her. And they're like, sometimes if we don't have makeup and set design, we don't do well. So we kind of need that. And so this is us nominating or presenting the award for best makeup and costume. And I was like, that's funny. Like it was little moments like that.
The Oscars has this tone of comedy. I can't really describe it, but it's like a certain theme. I wish, since they did multiple like hosts, they should have done different spectrums of comedy. Because like a certain person will watch it who it's not their type of comedy, and they'll be like Joe Rogan hates it's like SNL type of comedy. Joe Rogan hates SNL. He thinks it's not funny at all. So like I feel like if you're gonna do multiple hosts, do different types of comedy.
I would argue that the no host thing has been the best I've seen. Mm-hmm. Like every time I've seen a host, like it's some people like it, some people don't. I really like Ricky Gervais, for instance.
Oh yeah.
But every
Dude,
time
he kills.
after, it's just all this controversy and all this drama, and I don't know how much pressure he deals
But some people
with.
don't like the Ricky Gervais.
Exactly, and so like the fans, and then also the people running it are like, no, like it depends. I mean, depending on their sense of humor, but like they go too far, they don't.
But with this no host,
It was like no one's doing a monologue, no one's doing some crazy thing. It was very tight, and like people are saying it's a complaint has been it's too long, and I felt like it felt concise. Like they don't need to rush. They could give that time to the people accepting awards, and I think that was a cool thing because a lot of these award winners were first time award winners, and I think that they deserve every minute on that stage to like be able to say because they don't. One of them made joke. The favorite one was like, "I'm never going to be here again." Fuck.
Yeah.
I don't know
And
what
then
to
she's
say.
like, "Please hurry up," and then she's like, "Continued."
Yeah, fuck that. yeah. It's just, I think that's like that's the sincerity. People like that sincerity. That's what like the clips you see that are like shared everywhere. It's the sincere moments, and they need to like. And I think VGAs showcases that as well. It's like these people work hard in their craft, and that should be what, in my eyes, that should be like what they highlight and showcase in whatever outside of just their acceptances.
I'm gonna do a commentary, like a social commentary on viewers. I don't think the Oscars will have the same viewership as it used to have. It will always have a declining viewership because I feel like society right now, they want bite-sized clips. They rather watch the YouTube 2-minute highlight than watch the whole. They don't want to sit down and watch 3 hours of an award show. I feel like we're getting more and more into that instant. We need this. We need this. We need this. So I feel like viewership will decline and will.
I think they can go different ways though. They have to accept like the way digital media is going. You know, they have to start promoting themselves on streaming services. You know, like here we're also live streaming on Twitch and YouTube, things like that, and like get viewership from everywhere they possibly can. And VGAs has a great Twitch integration with like the audience voting, right. For their audience favorite of certain.
One of my big things was like get on Twitch.
Yeah, exactly. That's one way to boost that viewership. Because right now, like there's a lot of people cutting cable as well. Like
cutting what?
Like not having TV essentially, not having.
Oh,
like,
cable.
Yeah,
sorry, I didn't hear it right.
So like they're gonna, those people are gonna, if they have the chance, they're gonna be like, oh, let me watch it on Twitch then. You gotta start having it online somewhere available to people.
I mean, I used to do this with my family. We would look forward to them just because we were like, we would, regardless of whether we cared about the movies or not, we would all hedge bets, and you would have an Oscar party. And one of my friends right now is like, hey, we had a few friends over. We're really into movies. We're movie buffs and stuff. And we had our ballots, and we all kind of submitted them. We had a little fun, sort of like the Super Bowl. People do that with that. I think something that they should take from the Super Bowl, I know is a lengthy event that people like to sit. And one of the reasons they like to sit is because they know there's good commercials. Yeah. I think and VGAs has good, like people look forward to the reveals. I think the Oscars should partner with filmmakers and be like, I'll go into the balance of it later, but I think it should have a lot of new movie announcements or trailers at least of like what movie trailers can we anticipate to see at the Oscars. So it's a recognition of the past year, and it's a showcase of at least a sampling of the next year. And it doesn't have to be the all blockbuster movies. I don't want like Avengers, Hellboy, whatever. I would want them to showcase indie films because this is the time where it's like, where else would you get a platform like this to showcase the Romas or the different films that don't get heard of or wouldn't have a platform?
I think they're starting to do that because Netflix and HBO, like they showcase more Game of Thrones stuff and Watchmen stuff. So they're starting to do that.
But like this being they showcased a few here, but I'm like, there's a lot of short films. I'm like, I never heard of that, and I don't know where to get that. And we, by happenstance, were able to find the winner of one of the short films on Netflix. It would have been cool if they advertised that in like maybe even a preview show, like a pre-show. Be like, okay, we're going to talk about where you can access these shows. Like, we're going to give you a sampling of like, okay, these are all going to be found here. These are still in theaters. These are going to come out back in theaters like work with Hollywood or.
That's funny because that's something again the VJs does. Like when their games come out,
get Jeff Keighley on this shit. Get fuck the Oscars to fuck the Oscars.
He like
teams
up with
life.
Sony. He's like, hey, you know, PlayStation Store has a VGA a sale going on.
Yeah,
all these games are nominated on sale right now.
Make it so like movie watching is like Redbox movie theaters. Partner with like get them to partner so people go back and feel like I want to go watch movies right now.
And they can easily do like team up with Netflix where it's like, you know, for the
Everyone
week of these movies are all available to you on Netflix for that week, you know.
And Hulu and I would say with all of them, but
and they would. Well, I mean,
at least the ones nominated.
Like that's money per each one, so it's kind of adds up. I don't know. I would feel they would have to pay. It's not just a free thing they can do.
Partnership. It's like I think the marketing is the pay. I feel like they should go in that direction. Be like,
I don't know the logistics. I just feel like that'd be ridiculous though. But Netflix or Hulu, anyone can have a specific category. So as soon as you log in, it's like the Oscar nominated category. Boom.
I would also because I mean movies are typically a lot of them are traditionalists, so they should also recognize theaters as well. So like push people to want to incentivize people to want to see movies. Maybe like. This could be in a whole different topic, but maybe there's an Oscar pass, and it's like you get once I don't know how it would work, but I would have something where it's like a movie pass or an AMC pass where it incentivizes you to go to theaters, support your local theaters.
This might be a whole nother topic, but maybe people don't watch because they don't like the winners chosen, and that the one that won Best Picture. People are like, it's just the same old Hollywood, and people are not happy.
So Phil DeFranco, I did a video my friend told me about, and it's a podcast, I think, about how Oscar voting for Best Picture specifically works. And it's so weird. It's like, why is it that convoluted? Mm-hmm. What it essentially is you take the nominated films, and each voter ranks them. And they compile the votes, and depending on how you rank them, they get different points. And the lowest voted one gets knocked off, and you redistribute the list now with one less, and you do it again. So if a movie is consistently at 2 or 3, it has a more likelihood of winning overall than something that was number one on 40% of them or something.
Wow!
So that's why the ones that are like really controversial, like one way or the other, you either really love it or don't. The safe ones tend to win that, and I was like, that's weird, and like it messes with people because like. There was footage of Spike Lee's reaction to the announcement. He was trying to leave the place before like any award, like any acceptance speech was given. Like you gotta sit back down. They like made sure the doors were closed. Like everyone needs to stay seated.
You're stuck in here.
You're in the sunken place.
And people were upset. And I mean, I get why because I mean there's support, but there's also a lot of campaigning that's done that I didn't know about as well, and slander campaigning. People dig up dirt on filmmakers and films. To try to make them look bad before the ballots, and then they drop charges when the ballots are done. Wow. It's a lot of dirty shit, and I'm like, I feel like all this needs to go. Like, I feel like they need to like slim it down, refine it, change that voting process, and make it more about the art. Like, that's what it's all about. Like, raise the awareness. I think everyone, and again, raising awareness. I think I would love to see. A lot of times, I'm like, and the award for sound editing is this. And then the award for sound mixing is this. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't know the difference between sound mixing and sound editing. I would love if like before an award or maybe in a pre-show or sometime or maybe like commercials, they run ads to promote this. They run like, that could be the skits.
I just found out what in the Grammys, best record and best song, the difference between it.
Really?
Song is songwriters. Record is the song.
Really? Holy shit. But what I would say was,
sound editing.
The ads. I would have commercials promoting the Oscars, and I would do 2 things. I would inform and entertain. I would have those skits that you're talking about be different actors and directors collaborating to make a funny or entertaining. Like have James Cameron do some cool like visual thing. Is like, hey, this is what this is cinematography, and do like a 5-minute short on like cinematography,
like that Jurassic Park animated.
Yeah,
how we make the dinosaurs.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that would be really cool and educational. And it's like that's what this should be. Oscars should be like recognizing, celebrating, educating, I don't know. I think like that it's getting all snobbish and political, and I think that's diluting it in a lot of ways. Because like with the whole that whole green room thing, a lot of the issue is, for those not familiar, the accuracy of what was done. Like Marshall, I forget his last name, wasn't aware that the family was alive of that person he was portraying, and the directors and I don't know who in the production of it kept that information from him or did not divulge that. And then when the movie came out, the family was like, "This is not accurate. We're here. We're living relatives.
Yeah,
and it's not accurate." And people are making a big deal, and I understand that. I also learned that Black Klansman was not accurate, and whether or not that's a good thing or not is a different topic. But no one's given that a hard time.
Yeah,
because of that. And I'm like,
I feel like all those based on true events are never accurate.
Exactly. And I'm like, they're picking one out,
Yeah.
and they're making a case about like the racial lengths and intensity, because I know Black Klansman's a stronger, more passionate version of what maybe Green Room. Green Room was a little bit safer, more conservative, wholesome, I would say. But like, again, this is all like Twitter backlash, outrage, stuff. And I'm like, I feel like all that needs to just go away, and people should just be like, movies are movies. And again, it's an award show, so I understand. But again, that advertisement I think would be cool.
Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, I just think they have to embrace the internet culture at this point. They do
in terms of getting it to people, 100%.
Yeah, but they have to be careful with it. Like, you can't just like completely like integrate into internet, because internet culture is crazy.
Yeah, another cool thing, like people love doing the whole Oscar their own ballots.
Yeah,
like a party. Incentivize that. Be like, okay.
Oh yeah.
Submit, like in terms
Have
of digital,
printout.
like have your votes, and they could showcase whatever you voted as what you wanted, the people wanted, but also be like, how close were you to winning? Like, I have that with wrestling. There's a third party website that's like, here's a scorecard, and they have the winner, loser, and you like, if it's a tag match, they'll be like, who pinned who. So you see who you say who's the winning team, and you're gonna make a bet of who's the one who pins the specific person on the other team, and who's the one who takes it. How many finishes were done? Depending on the match type, you could be like, oh, did they go through a table? Did anyone go through a table? Some like interesting little bets inside of it. And I'm like, that could be cool to just engage people, but it doesn't have to wager money. It could just be like engaging, like what you were saying.
Yeah,
Cool.
that's all I can think of. I can't think of much.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, again, the extended thing, but like they were trying to cut down on the topics, and people got really, really pissed.
Oh, the categories?
Yeah.
That was the last thing. I think they should broaden it, because there's a lot of horror and sci-fi that does not get recognized. And I feel like if what Oscars, maybe its identity needs to change, and maybe that's my pitch, is redefine what Oscars is about and celebrate films and recognize them and reflect on them or educate on all this stuff.
So because the only thing I can think of is cut down on the time it takes to announce things.
No,
Give more time.
so I think if you stream it, I think you can go as long as you want, in my opinion, because I see a lot of like big tournaments for esports fucking all day.
Overtime.
And like, as long as you tell me what time, like just have a timeline, like we're going to have the Oscars for these categories between this time slot. All right. If I'm only interested in that, that's when I'll tune in. If I want to watch it for like leading actors and these things, I'll tune in then. That's how I can clip it.
Well, the thing is, because I was thinking when I was talking about streaming, is they're still TV based. Like they're still going off of the network, but they're also streaming it at the same time.
That'd be hard. Maybe on TV that would be a hard thing where it's like we only showcase certain parts, but maybe during commercial breaks they highlight certain things.
Yeah.
Well, the Game Awards used to do that when it was on TV.
Yeah,
I remember.
that's true.
Cut to commercial break. Now you guys can walk and go use the
Yeah.
restroom.
But I think if they slowly transition into all streaming, it shouldn't be like fuck timelines. Fuck, like we gotta stay tight. Just keep it broad. Give a range of time slots for what awards, and then people can tune in whenever they want. And then you can get a wide variety of new viewership, or just people watching all day, or not all day, but like a longer show.
Yeah.
I mean, plenty of people watch WrestleMania, and that's like a 6-hour show. Just throwing it out there. I know it's not for everyone, but it's a solid viewership. So
Yeah, it's true. Cool.
that was my topic. So with that, what have you guys been up to this week?
I've been playing Anthem.
Really?
Yeah.
On where? Talk to me.
PS4.
Okay.
It has its issues, but they're not. I don't think they're as big as people Like, just people are just exaggerating online.
How's
like
load
crazy.
times? That's like the biggest one that's
So
on my concern list.
immediately on the first day, like when I started playing, they had already fixed that issue. The load times were like way less than what they were.
Okay.
Compared to the demo. The demo were insane load times. The thing is, there's so many loading screens is the issue.
Okay.
But because like if I want to like go out into the world, I have to from town. I have to walk to my suit.
Yeah.
And I have to do an animation where it shows my guy walking into the suit. I can skip the animation, but then it loads into like where do you want to go on the outside map? And then so I have to like choose where I want to go. I can spawn here, I can spawn here, I can spawn here. So I'm like, I'm gonna spawn in this area. Perfect. And then you just hit X and like it, and then it loads into that map. And that's probably the longest load time is when it loads into like the open
Okay, so
world
that's
map.
been for the most part resolved.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then there's like essentially like caves or dungeons. Essentially, they're usually used for missions. So like if you're just out in the open world and you just randomly run in a cave, it's not going to be active. There's going to be nothing going on in there. But you load into the cave, and then when you want to load out or run out, you're like, oh shit, I didn't mean to go in here. You run out. You load out into the.
So is it sort of like Monster Hunter then? Is it traditional Monster Hunter where it's like
Yeah,
Zone 4,
you run into
Zone
each
5.
map. Yeah, exactly. But the load time
Or
from
long.
into the dungeon, into that like cave isn't bad. Back out is like a little longer again. It's not ridiculously long, but like, you know, if you're constantly loading, you're noticing like, okay, I just gotta wait a bit. Okay, I gotta wait a bit.
So how's overall? You enjoying it then, or?
Yeah, I really like it. So far, I mean, they're doing really good engaging. I don't know how the full end game is. I'm still like, I'm level 23 out of level 30.
Okay.
Been playing it slowly. And yeah, I was playing last night. I was doing like I did my, so they have what's called strongholds, which
Yeah.
would like the more difficult stuff. And I did my first one last night with Roberto. And you fight like this giant bug that has,
I think
like,
it's been in the demo.
yeah, it has bright glowing egg things on its back.
It
that
kind
you
of.
shoot.
Do you remember a game called Lost Planet?
Yes.
It
Capcom.
reminded me of that a little bit.
Yeah,
that bug.
And yeah, it was just weird because like when you damage the boss enough, she runs away, and when she runs away, a bunch of small like ads come out, and you have to like finish them off. And sometimes you're gonna take too long, and the boss ends up coming out, and now you have ads and the boss out. But it was just so overwhelming. Like if you're standing still, you're gonna get killed. You're gonna get down.
What javelin are you
I'm using the Ranger javelin.
It's like the all around.
That is the bare minimum. That's the one. Literally, like when you start
basic.
when you start the game, you start with a javelin that the character is chosen, and it's that basic javelin.
Okay.
And then once you like get into the regular game, it's like choose your javelin. You have like the 4 different ones you can choose from.
Okay.
Yeah. So I chose the basic.
You liking them?
Yeah, I like it a lot.
Okay.
He has an ultimate where like he
Missiles?
has he has a set amount of missiles, and so as soon as I activate it, it does like a kind of like a camera shot, and then as long as I highlight people, it's like selecting a missile for each target, and it does it automatically, so it just does it real quick. If it's one enemy, all those missiles to that one enemy.
Okay.
So it's like good on bosses and stuff like that, and you just do it. It has things called combos.
Yeah.
So there's moves called primers, and it's generally like an acid attack, like a freezing attack, or a fire attack.
Okay.
So, and the way you know is if you're using a fire attack, the guy's on fire. He's primed. He's ready to be comboed. If it's ice, the guy's frozen.
Yeah.
He's primed. He's ready to con. Acid, he has like this weird glowing green acid effect going on him. Each one does something different. The fire, it's damage over time. The ice, they're completely frozen. And then the acid, it lowers their defense, so your bullets are doing more damage. Okay. And when they're primed, you use what's called an impact or a detonator, is what they call it. So usually it's a explosive type attack. And so like my character has a grenade, and I can throw a grenade, and if they're primed, it blows up. The grenade does damage, and on top of that, there's a combo extra bonus damage that shows up in yellow, and that's extra damage because you mesh two abilities together.
Okay.
And that's one way to like really do a ton of damage, because there's monsters that are enemies that like they're just giant tanks with shields, and you hit their shield, 0 damage, just nothing. I'm able to like even hit their shield with my primer, the acid, and then throw a grenade, and no matter what, they'll get hit with that bonus damage. And so I just like do that, wait until it charges up again, do it again.
Can you combo with other players?
Yeah. As long as the character's primed in one form. So like Roberto has a freezing thing. He can freeze them, and I can throw my grenade, and boom, combo attack. Yeah. And then you get like extra points for that too. Doing all this like gives you XP at the end of the game. Yeah.
Do you see yourself playing this? It's being sold as like a games as a service. Do you see yourself continuing with this game, or your current state, or what?
At my current state, I see myself playing Endgame and trying to get the best gear so far, which would be what's called either Masterworks or Legendaries. Those are the two Endgame contents. Masterworks is kind of like the easier, harder stuff to get, and Legendary is like the most difficult. That's like the rarer stuff.
Okay.
I'm probably gonna like completely max out myself in either Masterworks, and then the idea from there is to farm everything to get the right stat you want on those weapons or on the gear.
Okay.
I don't think I'm gonna go that far.
Okay.
I think I'm just gonna fill myself up and then wait for new content if I don't get tired of the game or another game comes out that I'm.
Well, they have like a 90-day plan of like content coming out already, like a roadmap of like at start of March, there's supposed to be something dropping, like weather impacting things and changing things up. And then mid or early April, there's another thing. And then May, there's a big thing. Yeah. And that's Act 1. And then there's supposed to be Act 2 after that. Gotcha. So stuff's down the pipeline. It's coming.
Yeah.
You usually rush to get to Endgame.
Yeah.
But why are you taking it slow for this one?
They got a lot of lore. And I've seen some fantastic stories. There's a story where you meet this old lady and you're like, hey, what are you doing? And she's like, oh, I'm waiting for my son. And it just seems like a normal conversation. And she's like, all right, I'll see you later. Bye. Thank you for talking to me. And then when you go out on a mission, you come back, it like starts the new conversation. You talk to her and she's like, hey, you look like my son. Like, you have the same jawline. And then she's like, hey, I really appreciate you talking to me. Like, there's no one really that talks to me anymore. Like, thank you. And then you leave again, come back. And she's like, hey, Kyle, you're back. And you're just like, what's going on? And she's like, you've been gone for so long. And so there was hints in the beginning when you first talked to her that she's like, you look just like my kid. And then later on, she's like, hey, you are him. And you're like, and you have options. You can either go along with it, or you can be like, ma'am, you're completely mistaken. And I felt bad. I was like, dude, I cannot go along with this. Like, I feel so bad. Like, I don't know what's going to happen. So I immediately was just like, no, you're wrong. It's not me. And you realize like her kid died when he wasn't even like 4 years old. And what happened is there's this whole event that happens and like this whole town gets attacked and both her husband and child died in that event. And so she's like in shock and she doesn't want to believe this. She's like, she's misremembering to protect herself. And so I'm assuming the dialogue always leads this direction, regardless of the choices you have. But my dialogue was like said, it's not me. And eventually she's like, I've been thinking about what you said, and like, like there's these things that just happen I can't remember, and you're slowly pushing her, and she realizes like she's like, this happened, the whole building collapsed. You were pointing at your dad to like for me to save him. So as I was running to him, it further collapsed on you, and that was it. You're both done for. And she's like, I just couldn't bring myself to believe that had happened. And so she's in this town waiting for someone to come in that's never going to come back. And she's just completely made delusional. But you help her figure out that this is no longer the case. And she's like, you know what? I appreciate you. Thank you for helping me out. I'm going to move in with my sister, who's been trying to get me to go with her this whole time. And I've been lying to her, telling her I'm waiting for someone. So yeah, like... It's insane, There's a like everything's like being damaged. So then like farming is an issue. You can't farm in a town. You can only farm like in rural areas where
dangerous.
You're very very dangerous. And this lady figures out how to be able to farm in town, but she doesn't have the funds to do it. And so you slowly build conversations between two women, and you kind of let them meet together.
This is very BioWare-like.
Yeah.
It reminds me of Knights of the Republic in a lot of ways.
So yeah, like every time I finish the mission, I make sure to walk through the whole town and talk to whoever I need to talk to to see this lore and
That's
continue
cool.
conversations.
I hope they continue that after, like, once you've done all whatever it has to offer, they add more. So one question I have is, when you're doing these missions that are not, I mean, you're not in endgame, but they're just regular missions. Are they unique, or are they very much like gather 10 things, come back, kill 20 things, like very basic? Or?
It will get repetitive, but as of right now, it doesn't feel that way.
Okay.
But yeah, like there are a lot of so there's the main story, which I would say isn't very long. I've actually already beaten the main story.
So you did fast it.
Well, because I did everything exclusively for the main story. I didn't do any of the side stuff. But there are side stuff. So you talk to some Arcanist guy, and he's like, "Hey, there's things going on over here," and that mission starts up there. But I'm like, that's not a main story mission. I don't want to do that one yet. So I just did it all the way through the story.
It doesn't lock you out of side stories?
No. Well, there are events where like you have to do essentially achievements before you can continue with the main story.
Okay.
It asks you to like find 15 chests in the free play mode.
Is that fun?
I got lucky. I was reading up on it, and it tells you like I read a thing where it's like, do these things now. Because like at level 3, it starts counting them, even though you haven't gotten to that point yet. Everything you do in the free world, it starts counting towards this achievement. And I was like, all right, cool. And I just started doing everything. And what was left is like finding chests and doing world events. So like when you're in the free world, you'll come across like, oh, there's a dude who's hurt over here. Go save him. And you had to do 10 of those events. And then you had to do the chest. The chest was the most annoying one.
So are there a lot of those, like Monster Hunter has the egg quests that from some of the more traditional Monster Hunter runs, they're like, oh, I gotta do this shit. Do you get that sense at all?
It doesn't have anything that's super annoying, but it's funny that you bring up the egg quests. There are events where, because you can normally fly, there are events where you have to pick something up and you have to like put it on your back where it blocks your boosters. You can no longer fly. You have to run the whole way there, but you run super fast. Like it gets annoying where like, sometimes there's like it's a map where like there's like a bunch of things in the way, but I can jump and like jump dash, like, and just kind of avoid everything. Cool. But yeah, like they have you carry something type of events. I thought that was funny.
I like the egg quests. The mountain herbs or the gather 15 of something and you can't find the last 2 is the one that I hate.
It's always at the very like back.
I hate them both. If it's one egg, it's one thing. I hate when I'm like
2
or 4.
I hate how they purposely make it harder to like when you grab the egg, everything blocks, and you have to.
And a fucking Velocidrome is like, haha.
And you're like, ugh, and you drop the egg.
Fuck, like, you're dead.
Yeah, nothing feels repetitive, but I think endgame it will because it'll be the same
grind.
You'll be just redoing same stuff over and over. Yeah.
So one thing I've noticed from watching streamers is, I mean, this is something that it differs from what I've seen versus what I hear. What I hear is everyone saying like, this is a competition for Destiny and Division and games as a service, because it is a games as a service.
Yep.
But when I see the game being played, and I've been watching it like when I'm not watching someone play Apex or Destiny, I'm like, oh, check out someone playing Anthem. It to me, and maybe you'll get an experience or you see it this way, reminds me less of Destiny and more of Diablo 3 meets Monster Hunter World. Like the environment makes me think of Monster Hunter World. The way you co-op makes me think of Monster Hunter World, where you're like, use your ability, but in terms of the way you combo abilities and damage, it like the ability part and like stacking combos and stuff makes me think of Diablo, where it's like, hey, we're in an instance, fucking spam all of your alt abilities and your ult, like. And do you see that comparison, or are you thinking it's more the other route?
I don't see it as either. I mean, I do see it more Diablo-wise, because there is the whole ability. You kind of just try to like gather guys, and like this storm can just drop a lightning bolt on every single guy and just obliterate everything.
Well, just like Destiny's very I mean, they have abilities in Destiny, but it's very gunplay focused. And when I see the gunplay in this, it looks generic. Like I don't know what's there's no like, this is a thorn, this is the last word. Like there's no unique gun feel. It's just like generic pulse rifle, generic shotgun, generic pistol. I don't know the unique things about it.
It gets there with the Masterworks. The Masterworks have a specific exclusive name for those weapons.
Okay.
I don't know any of the names because I haven't gotten
Maybe
there.
down the road that'll.
Yeah,
Okay.
but I know there's a specific handgun that everyone's trying to get, and that one has a specific name, so I know like that exists.
But then I listened to one streamer, and he's like, the end game is if you're really into builds and making a certain build, that's the end game right now, for at least from his viewpoint.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that makes me think of Diablo. Like people would be like, I'm a barbarian, I want to run this build, so I'm trying to get all the gear for that build.
So yeah,
I have this build, I want to work towards another build, and that's the fun of it, is the loop of that.
There are builds because there are abilities that match each other
Right.
like, very, very well.
Or like the group you're in, you want to be a certain
exactly.
role.
So right now I run like venom darts that or acid darts essentially. So that's what primes my enemy, and then I have a sticky grenade. The sticky grenade right now seems to be the most damage output for a single target.
Okay.
It sticks onto someone, only does damage to that one person. The explosion doesn't really hurt anyone else.
Okay.
And then there's regular grenades as well, but that does like wide explosion. It doesn't do as much damage to a single target.
It's just AoE.
I usually we're able to burn all the enemies down,
Okay.
and obviously the boss is usually left, so I stuck with those sticky grenades to do the most damage.
Cool.
But yeah, there's different abilities, and so different builds.
Thanks for the Anthem review. Kind of snuck that into the episode.
You guys had questions for me.
I know. No, it was good. I think you gave a good impressions of everything. It's pretty cool. I hope it continues to be good.
I hope so too. Because
I'm
I
of the mindset right now where I'm like, I'm in no rush to play it. I know it's got its issues or its content, maybe even. I want to see it go more, but I definitely want to play it. I'm maybe leaning towards PC, just because of how I've seen like people streaming and they stream at a higher quality stream. I think it could just be their stream, but it looks gorgeous. Like I can imagine on any platform you're playing, it's
It
like
does.
fuck.
When it rains, you can see like it dribble off of the.
When I saw the wizard one, his arm is pulsating. I'm like, I'm pulsating. Jang, anything up new with you?
Bloodborne is at a halt. I'm at a hard boss, and I just don't want to stress over it.
It's funny because, I mean, you've played Bloodborne before, but you're playing it at the same time I've been listening to Kotaku's Jason Schreier play it for the first time. And he lost a bet to start playing it. Now he's addicted to it.
Oh, nice.
And
That's
like
cool.
he was at that boss you were at last.
Logarius?
Yeah, he was at that one. He's like, this is taking me forever. But once he beat it, he's like, I feel so like godly.
Yes.
So anyway, so you've been playing, you stopped Bloodborne. What are you playing?
Apex nipples.
But you weren't gonna play it.
I know. What happened to once a week, dude? Oh my.
Yeah.
There's a streamer that always talks. He's like, once a week, huh? Right? It's addicting, man. Not as addicting as Fortnite, but it is addicting.
How late did you stay up?
Dude, one night, 4 a.m. I had to wake up at
Did
8.
you do that with Fortnite ever?
Wow, dude.
I haven't done that with Fortnite. I
But I
played
think-
till like 3.
I think it depends on the people you're playing with, and you're.
I play with randoms too, though. I mean,
Up to 4
most
in
of
the
the time,
morning?
I've only played with Minato twice.
There was a game I watched you play where you and Minato both died, and you're like, "This guy's fucking,"
yeah,
and then he
I
fucking
highlighted-
gets it,
yeah.
and you're like, "Oh shit!" I'm gonna tell him we didn't believe. Now I believe.
I told him, I was like, I didn't believe you're gonna finish it. Yeah, I clipped it. Oh my god, dude. Dude, this guy had a sliver of health. I was like, dude, he's not gonna win. And I thought there were 2 people still alive, but it was only one. I was like, whew. But it's addicting. Getting better at it.
Yeah,
I feel like I am getting better at it. Dude, to begin, I'm still like, I still miss my shots.
Yeah.
It's a weird like shooter, but yeah, the monitor is helping. I see now.
all of the things.
And,
Cool. Anything else?
Went to like 3 book signings back.
3. I know you went to see Chuck Palahniuk.
Yeah, Marlon James, he wrote Black Leopard, Red Wolf.
Did you talk to him?
Yeah.
How is he?
He's cool. So he's in Into the Spider-Verse, and I was like, you're Into the Spider-Verse. He's like, oh, yeah. Actually, I have 2 cameos. He's Jamaican. I was like, oh, shit. And then he told me about the second one. I was like, oh, shit. I was like, did you watch a movie? He's like, well, fuck yeah. He's like, and then he said the thing is, like, in the movie, they put his name on a book, but it says blood clot. And he's like, dude, they don't think they realize blood clot is a really bad word in Jamaica. So he's like, yeah, it's really bad. So they didn't do their research. So it's called Blood Clot something. I don't know what the book. It was a fictional book. It's not real, but they put his author name in it.
So the only connection I have between Blood Clot and Jamaicans is lyrics from Kanye West.
Yes.
Yes. Where it's Through the Wire. He's referring to like he had like issues with the crash, and like he brings up like, you
I
know,
had blood clots. I ain't Jamaican.
yeah,
man.
exactly. But I ain't Jamaican. So he's referring to saying Jamaicans tend to get like, or have blood issues, I guess. And I wonder if that's where that connection comes from. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So who's the third writer?
Christopher Paolini. He wrote the Aragon books.
That's what that clip was from.
Dude,
Okay.
when he wrote those, he inherited like the stories essentially. Like,
I have no idea.
so he continued writing them.
I think he came up with it.
Yeah.
He was 16 when he wrote that.
Yeah. So when I first read the original Aragon, it said it
How do
was
you
an
guys say it?
inheritance, and I don't know. Aragon.
I say Aragon.
Aragon.
It sounds very close to Aragorn.
I say Aragon.
Aragon? Maybe that's right.
Because I mean, I'm the only one. I know I'm the odd man out on this, but I always think of dragon,
Oh.
and I just take the D out and I put.
Ooh. Well, why don't you put D in?
I think the word that's where the word stems from, but I don't feel like that's how it's pronounced.
I know.
I could be wrong.
I've been firm in my. Anyway, didn't
that
mean
guy
to
has
detract.
a big ass fucking. Actually, every
Big as what?
following.
Oh,
Not D. What the? Dude, every single one of those writers is Marlon James, huge line. Christopher, Chuck Palahniuk, huge line. Christopher Paolini, huge line. It's crazy. I've never read any of
So
the
he's super young.
Aragon books.
But super
Aragon.
young or what?
He's like in his 30s. Now.
Did I really read it when I was like 16 too then?
you were the same age as him.
Yeah, pretty much. Because I'm in my 30s now too. All I know is I read it in high school, let a friend borrow it. I don't know what happened. He's like, I destroyed it. And I'm like, what? He's like, I'll pay you back. And we were going to do like a Six Flags. No, we're going to do a Six Flags trip. And he's like, I'll just pay for your ticket. I was like, all right, cool. I mean, that was it. But like, I was like, how do you destroy a book, dude? And he's like, I spilled on it. And I'm like, I think he just like got out of control. I feel like he spilled. He's like, oh sh, and he's like trying to rub it and like rips pages. He's like, and he like puts it over fire.
If I put a fire, it'll warm it and dry it up.
He's like, oh shit, you know. I was like, I can't even.
I have to admit, Golden Apple did the Chuck Palahniuk signing. They are the best when it comes to signing like
How to do that
system. Woo. Numbered, so you can leave. And then they tell you the time period when you should come back.
Fantastic.
Dude, so we just like, all right, bounce. But it still took like an hour wait.
They're professional.
Hours fine.
Yeah.
Anything more than that, it's just like.
But you know you have your place in line.
That's
So
cool.
that's, fuck. Please adopt your system.
But I feel like obviously you learn as you go, so they're already professional.
I feel like that with conventions. Like, I'm tired of the whole pick up your badge
But
at the
they're just
convention.
not learning.
Mail it to me, bro.
Yeah.
Charge me an extra $5. Mail it to me. I'm fine with that.
That's pretty much
Cool.
it. Just
I forgot to mention something last week. So 2 weeks ago, we had engineering week at my work, and it's a bunch of fun events. One of them was Dragon Ball Fighter Z, and I've been training for that at the time.
So
a little bit.
You own the game?
I have the game.
Okay.
I got the next season pass because they said all characters are unlocked. And they don't have all of season 2 yet in the game, but they had a few. They had Jiren, who's this big, bald, buff guy.
Yeah.
Broly, the old school Broly, not the new one, but the new one's going to come. And like a handful of other ones. So I was like, all right. Me and my friend were playing. We're like, we should both train. And she was already really good. I remember I played a while ago, and I was like, I don't remember how to play. So I just need a refresher. And we practiced the night before. I was getting my ass handed to me. And she's like, the reason why is because you keep trying to run to me. Fucking, you got to do the dash to me. And like, that's how it'll work. I'm like, oh. And as soon as she taught me that, I like added another thing to it. And I was like,
God.
she's like, what did I do? Because we had to compete against each other.
Yeah.
So it's a double elimination bracket. Last year, E-Week, because it's lunchtime. So they're very like tight on time. And they did single elimination for whatever. They did another game. It's like Tatsunoko versus Capcom. This time they had a smaller pool of people, but it was double elimination. So it was like much more competitive. And someone was helping the host co-host it. And he's a big Evo fighting game competitive scene guy. So he came prepared. They had 2 PS4s set up. He had the brackets set up.
Nice.
I was enjoying it. He's like, I want to give people a proper sampling of like what this can feel like to enjoy competitive because maybe we can take this further. And I had my team, like the night before, my biggest thing was like, okay, I know how to play the game now. I want to figure out my team. And I was like, should I go with a theme? Just like all bald people, like characters or all buff guys or all Saiyans. I was like, I'm going to go with fucking biggest, hulkiest characters. So I had Broly. I had Jiren, who's this fucking giant. I kind of tweaked it, and my starter was Hit, who's like Cell. He's just like a quick hitter, kind of like Fox for me. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna start. I was like, when I played with Broly, I was just like, go in, fucking use everything, smash their head, throw them around. I was like, I'll save him for last. I kept using him as my first. Like, maybe I should save that in case. So I switched to saved it. It was a good move. So we go to the tournament and play my first game. I was nervous because I didn't know how anyone else was. For the most part, I was like, I think I could do okay as long as I get like, and I felt okay with the double elimination.
Yeah.
So the first match goes in, and I'm like, it's just nerves of like, okay, this is a tournament. And people are watching. Like, people are there supporting each other, watching other people's matches when they're not playing. And I beat the guy. But if I wasn't as on it, I could have lost.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I did good. Confident. Be confident. Good. And I was joking around. I came with Dragon Ball Z wristbands, and I had these chickpeas. I put them in a Ziploc bag, and I said sensu beans. And I put them in my sleeve. I'm like, hey, you guys want some of these like performance enhancing? I kept taking one after every match. I'm like, I need a heal. People were like, what the fuck is he doing? I'm like, so first match done. Second match, some guy's like, you're playing this other guy. And I look over, and he's got a controller in his hand. And I'm like, fuck. And it wasn't a normal controller.
Yeah.
It was a gamepad fighting, like a regular, it wasn't an arcade stick. It was. Luckily, the guys were like, no, everyone else is using PS4 controllers. You can't use your own. So I was like, thank God. But still, I knew in my head, I'm like, his skill level must mean he fucking wrecked me. Like, there's 3 characters, it's like Marvel vs. Capcom and Dragon Ball FighterZ. I got one of his before he got all 3 of mine. I was like, well, fuck me. Okay. That was humbling. I took 2 sensu beams. I'm like, fuck this shit. So now I'm in loser's bracket, and now I'm nervous because I'm like, okay, next loss is my friend showed up late, so he got disqualified. He's automatically in loser's bracket. He's like, you 2 are facing. Not the one I trained with, someone else. And I was like, you're gonna make me like fight my own brother? Like we call each other bros. Like, this is like emotional. Like, we fight, and he's never played before, so he's button mashing. But he was pulling off these, like, in the late game, he pulled off these ultimate abilities, and it came close. I was like, fuck! And I'm nervous. I beat him barely. I was like, oh, fuck. Then I faced my friend who got into loser's bracket, and I was like, oh, shit. Like, they're making us face each other. So she's also in loser's bracket. And I'm like, again, emotional? I ended up beating her. I was like, fuck. Damn. I was like, we were both like, oh, man, it's a bummer because we didn't want to face each other.
Or at least not till the end.
Not till later, yeah. But yeah, so we faced each other, and I won. I was like, oh my God. And like, they didn't let me rest. They're like, all right, next. I was like,
sensu beans, more sensu beans.
What happens when you win?
I just kept eating them. Like, and then I faced this other guy, and I was like, I thought in my head, I was like, this is the last one. If I get past him, I'm in the. I face him, and I kid you not, it was this close because he started countering my things. I was doing not a regular dash. I was doing like a special dash that breaks like a regular block, and he kept blocking it. And someone midway, I watched him do teleport. And I was like, I don't know how to do that. And one of my friends was like, oh, it's just these 2 buttons. Like, oh, okay. And that saved me. Like, if he didn't tell me that, I would have been like, fuck, I can't. This isn't working, because I would try that, and I would blink and I was fucking this close. I was like, holy fuck. That was the best match. And I shook his head. He was like, that was fucking tight. Then the guy, it was like, I thought it was over. He's like, no, you got one more. And it's the guy that beat me. He got knocked to losers. I was like, it's not over. I think I know how I can be more level-headed. I've been like rushing and be the aggressor. This time I didn't rush, and he immediately blocked up. And then I went in, and I took 2 of his guys. And it was going back and forth pretty well. But then the last guy started wrecking me. Lost it. I was like, fuck. But I did better, so I was happy. He got wrecked, and then the final 2 were really good. So I was like, I remembered this happened. I was like, I really want to talk about it in the podcast. But it was fun. I love competing. This past week, I've been telling you guys I've been working on the Destiny. I got one of them.
Only one?
I got the Gambit one.
Dang.
It fucking, like, they were like triple rank up for Gambit, and so I was like, but in the last like whatever ranking up of it, you have to win. You can only get XP from winning. You can't get it from losing. You can do bounties, and they count towards XP. And so someone online was like, if you save all your bounties from last week, it'll automatically get you to what you need just from turning them in. So I was like, I'm doing that. I turned all of them in, hit it. I was like, fuck yeah. Finally fucking did it. Like a week before it resets.
That's funny.
I'm like, I'm never playing Gambit again. Today there was news of like the new season, and I'm like, damn, that's fucking dope. I want to play Gambit.
So you didn't do the Crucible one?
I'm almost there. I'm on it. I'm at the part where I have to do 25 of each mode. I finally finished competitive mode, and my connection timed out twice, and then it suspended me from competitive. I'm like, wait, how long is the fucking suspension? It's like someone was like 30 minutes. I'm like, oh, thank God.
Oh, you thought it was like days?
Yeah, I thought I was like, am I not going to be able to do this? Because I need to do it by Tuesday. I've saved 11 bounties. So after I finish this step, I have to do 18 more Rumble matches. And then I'm like this close to doing my last rank up. And then I have to turn in 20 bounties.
And that last rank up is the same thing? Like if you lose points?
No, this one, win or loss, it counts.
Okay.
But Rumble is the last mode I have to do, free for all. And as long as you're in the top 3, it counts as a win.
Oh.
So I'm kind of happy about that because I'm always top 2. I'm like just shotgunning. I'm running around shotgunning people just left and right. So I'm just like, I'm like before today, I was like, I don't want to play Destiny. I want to break. I want to play all these other games. I want to play Apex. I want to play some of these campaign games. And then they showed me this new season. I'm like, oh, fuck, I want all of that. It's so cool.
Yeah.
It's like new game modes and stuff. So, haven't watched much. I watched the worst episode of Star Trek. It was like right after the best episode, I thought. It was like Wesley falling in love with this girl who didn't turn out to be a girl, turned out to be a furry. And like, it's funny. They kiss and he's like, I'm in love. Like he's going through all that I get it.
Yeah.
He's 15 years old and all that stuff. But like watching that wasn't entertaining. And I'm like, man, usually there's like a B story that it's interesting. And he kisses her and then something happens and she has to transform into a real form. And I've never seen a dick go soft so fast. Like in his eyes, you could see like. And when I paused it, I'm like, Katie. But he still loved her. I'm like, I think this is like the beginning of furry, like as a thing. Because like he's like, you know what? I know I love her more. Or I appreciate. I don't know. It's like I appreciate the love we have because it's more than just physical. Like okay, fine,
Has
whatever.
that Reddit one popped up for you already?
No. I'll let you know when that one does.
Holy shit.
I mean, we're not making that much progress. We're like watching 1 or 2 right now.
Still, I guess.
Is it season 2?
Oh no, I don't know. So that's why I guess. So how many seasons are in this?
Like 6 or 7.
Oh shit! Okay.
So we're in season 2.
So it could take a while.
Like midway. So
Last fucking episode.
yeah. And Pokemon was great this week. Pokemon Day, the fucking direct was awesome. I'm gonna see Alita soon, hopefully.
Oh yeah, I have to watch it.
Yeah, we're planning on going to
Catch us there, recording a podcast.
what is it called? Something City?
Review the experience.
Metal City?
Experience. Maybe we review the movie too.
And do a mukbang.
Popeyes?
So they have alcohol there. It's a 21 and over
Free?
event. I think it's. I don't know.
It's always been free.
I mean, if it's $40, it should be fucking free shit.
Included.
But not if you got the ticket for free.
Hey, they don't know that, dude.
All right, that's all I have. So
Yeah.
where can people find you guys?
At the Fulio 365 on Instagram and in the Fulio everywhere else.
In Apex Legends, at the Last Bosses.
At Kujo Prime with the Drifter in Gambit. You can find us all at the Weekly DLC. Let us know what you think. If you have any thoughts on Fortnite, Apex Legends, Oscars, Pokemon, anything in between. Oh, I forgot one thing. I'm gonna say that. I'm gonna say this real quick. So in Pokemon Go, this is like a epilogue. Everyone has to pick a team when they start Pokemon Go. Mystic, Blue, Red, Valor, what the fuck?
Zapdos.
Instinct, Zapdos.
Yellow.
And they recently added an item where you could change team.
Ooh.
But the cooldown is a year. So if you change your team, you're stuck with that team for a year. I've been thinking, I'm like, do I want to do this? Because I originally played this game with a different group of people. I think you know some of them. And all those people stopped playing. Or I don't play with them. I don't know. One way or the other, I'm not playing with them on a regular basis. So I'm like, the things I would enjoy of like being a team, I don't do as much. My coworkers, we have a mixed group, but like I've been with a few of the people. I've been in blue team. And the people I mostly play with now have been red. Like I've been thinking, I'm like last few months, everyone's just like, I'm always the odd one out, and I'm like, okay, we can't all take a gym down, or we can't all, in terms of a team thing. And I like that. I like that feeling of like, hey, we're a unit. So I was like, you know what? I want to change my team, and I did. And I didn't tell my coworkers, and that's the main group of people that see. Someone fucking like, all of a sudden I put my guy in like the gym by work, and someone like took a screenshot and is like, Kurosh, have you just betrayed the blue team? And I shared a picture with them that was kind of funny. I shared this picture. It's like John Cena with a SmackDown shirt. And then I shared another picture of John Cena with a Raw shirt, but it's my face on him. And that's all I did. And then one of my friends was like, you're dead to me. I was like, fuck. I was like, all right, whatever.
I thought you were going to say like everyone at work changed to blue so that they could play with
No,
me.
I asked everyone. Leading up to this, I was thinking about it, whether I want to do it. And I asked other people if they're thinking of changing teams. And everyone's like, because it costs in-game currency to change. It's like a hefty amount of coins in-game. So it's nothing to scoff at. And people are like, I'd rather spend that elsewhere. And to me, I'm like, it's a year. So that amount, I just distribute. I'm like, that's a little bit over the course of the year. And to me, it mattered. I like that. So I was like, you know what, I'll do it. And I did it. And now I'm like, it's weird because I look at gyms like, oh, that's the old team.
And you take them out.
I changed it. And now I'm like, I take them out. And I'm approaching it like WWE. I'm like, I'm changing teams. Drafted. So anyway, I wanted to get that in real quick. You can find us all at the Weekly DLC. Check us out. And until next time, we'll
DLC.
You later.